Eyes are beautiful. Her light dances and glimmers on the surface, almost like warm moonlight. Their vibrant colors that fill the iris with life, and the pupil that shines like a dark mirror directly into a person's soul. Well, honestly, in this society, there's not much else besides eyes you could love about a person. When everyone adorns the same black cloaks, foam shoes, and white acrylic masks, eyes are the only things that shine like the light of life to the darkness that is my world. You know what? I've never actually seen my face. Haven't seen other people's too. Only through the small slits at the eyes are people able to show their face. Our masks all have cold, rigid cages, hovering over our mouths, stuffing our noses, and filling our ears with sludge. The only way I could tell anyone apart was through their eyes, and today, I saw the most beautiful eyes I had ever seen that I could never forget. It was at work, surprisingly. Work that day was identical to any other. The factory floor lined with tides of conveyor belts, all flooring with upside-down masks, wafting them throughout the factory. Along these conveyor belts were thousands of workers, all mechanically fiddling with their masks for hours and hours on end. One of those workers was me. I looked identical to everyone else, well bar my hazelnut eyes. My job in the factory was simple. An unfinished mask would glide along the factory line until it reached me, where I would pick it up, a small plastic capsule, click it into its unfinished mask, and weave some wires into place. For years, that's all I did, hunched over a conveyor belt while repeating in my mind, click, weave, repeat. Click, weave, repeat. But that particular day, something really odd happened. Directly across me sat my co-worker. I remember distinctly because of his dark green eyes. He wasn't clicking or weaving. He was reaching beneath his desk. He was doing something. And almost clumsily, something clicked. He stood up and left. I looked up, confusion flooding my mind, and I tried to follow. But as soon as I did, electricity was sent flying through my body, zapping me into complicit, hunched-over position. Moments later, I heard a loud bang outside. His spot lay vacant for all of 5 minutes. I never saw my green-eyed co-worker again. However, in his place, something most miraculous emerged. Wafting gently, almost like the smog of a factory, came a new co-worker. She wore the same drapes, the same foam shoes, and the same blank white mask as anyone. However, there was something different about her. I looked up to make eye contact, and as I did, the whole world fell rushing behind me. Gazing into her eyes was almost indescribable. A deep bright hue of blue rushing like a stormy tides through her pupils. They shine like a lighthouse on a dark winter's night, and I could almost feel the breeze of the ocean rush through my hair. For a moment, I forgot where I was. I was no longer crammed into a dark, dusty factory filled with unwilling slaves. Instead, I was frolicking a beach with the most beautiful woman I'd ever laid my eyes upon. We stared into each other's eyes for what couldn't have been more than a few seconds before being zapped back into obedience. We solemnly lowered our heads and continued. Click, weave, repeat. My hand still trembled and my heart still thumped, thinking of the world with her. And all that despite not being able to speak or even see her face, I had the comfort that she was only a meter away. The next few days were like magic. Every chance we got, we'd gaze into each other's eyes. Our mouths sealed beneath acrylic. We still made each other smile. We'd blink in Morse code, telling jokes. Only a word at a time, of course, or else we'd get tased. However, I could still see her, I imagine, pearly white smile beneath a mask, as her gorgeous eyes spoke for themselves. Crammed next to my co-workers, she was really the only person I cared about. I would go home dreaming of what she'd look like beneath a mask. Maybe she was a blonde, perhaps a warming brunette, and even a pitch-dark black-haired girl. But really, all I had was my imagination. However, I had a plan. I remember that co-worker, fiddling beneath his desk, and he stood up without being zapped. Perhaps I could do the same and escape with her. So today, I enacted my plan. Today I could see her face, taste what freedom was, and free our faces from the cages of our acrylic masks. I began work as normal. I blinked to her the plan, and then I pivoted my head side to side, searching for guards. Then I laid my head down. Blindly, wafting my hand through cables beneath my desk, I found something, twisted it, and I heard a click. Slowly, I did the same for her. As if cracking my fingers, all the pressure to work, conform melted away, melting into an unwavering conviction for freedom. Freedom! We shot up, knees aching and heart trembling. We were filled with anxiousness. We looked around, making sure no one could see us. Then, knowing we were safe, we looked at each other. We lost ourselves in each other's eyes. Then, we laughed in relief, muffled chuckles of pain echoing through both our masks. I leapt over the conveyor belt towards her, a co-worker still hunched over, ignoring us. I reached for her hand. She did the same. We held each other tight. She had soft, supple hands, a good change of pace from the acrylic masks we were touching every single day in the factory. We looked around for an exit. Finally, we saw one. A lone rusty door at the end of a hallway of churning machines and obedient workers. Holding each other tight, we ran together to the exit, smog and smoke smacking our faces as we did. It felt like freedom. Finally, we made it to the exit. Our legs ached. Then, with every single fiber of muscle in our body, we pushed it open, door swinging and light shining through from the outside. We stepped out. We looked around. Finally, outside of these factory walls, we couldn't wait any longer. Now free, and standing right outside the factory doors, I reached out my spindly, malnourished hand out to her mask. She did the same. We both grabbed on and slowly peeled off her mask. First, I saw her lips, glistening like the glow of the sun. Then I saw her freckled cheeks twinkling like the light of 1,000 stars. And then I saw her blue eyes, as beautiful as ever. Finally! We are free! Our masks were off! Her hair was red. I couldn't have imagined. It flickered like fiery embers and danced in the breeze. I smiled, taking in her beauty. Then our masks began to beat violently, louder and louder. The plastic capsules I'd put in every single day exploded, killing us both. Our spot laid vacant for all of 5 minutes, waiting for 2 more very lucky workers.